Hey, hi. I'm saying hi to you on our lesson number 4. And the topic for today's class is a tour around the world. Sounds rather exciting, right? But okay, to tell you the truth, let's stay humble. We are not going to take the tour around the world, more like a tour around Europe. But that's something, right? So in short, today we're going to find out how we should spell and pronounce the names of countries and languages, at least the ones that we use in our daily language, the ones that we use the most frequently. Let's begin, shall we? Right. So for the very start, you should now be able to see a table that illustrates the names of countries and languages. We have two types of columns. The blue columns illustrate the names of countries in both English and Swedish, and then the yellow ones comprise the names of languages, again in both English and Swedish. I shall accentuate here that pronunciation, as you most probably know, is of key importance. So I highly recommend that you repeat after me. Let's go through the table and pronounce every single country and every single language. So first of all, Litauen, Lithuania, Litauen, Ukraina, Ukraine, Ukraina, Storbritannien, Storbritannien, Great Britain. Finland. Finland is Finland. Sverige. Sverige. Sweden. I hope that you remember this, that Sweden is a little bit exceptional because of the pronunciation, right? The G turns into the sound Y. Can you tell me the reason why? That's right, because we have a soft vowel E, right? And what happens when the letter G stands in front of the soft vowel E is that it turns into a soft vowel, into a soft sound Y, Sverige. The same is applicable to Norway or Norge. Norge. Danmark. Danmark. Denmark. Island. Island. Iceland. Tyskland. Tyskland. Germany. Let's practice that Y letter, right? Not Tyskland, not Tyskland, but Tyskland. Polen. Polen. Poland. Spanien. Spanien. Spain. Frankrike. Frankrike. France. And finally, Italien. Italian. Italy. I think I would like to stop when it comes to Spain and France a little bit. Why? Because Spain is rather an exception, I'd say. Do you remember the basic rule when it comes to long and short vowels? I can give you a couple of examples. En penna, en mobil. En penna, en mobil. What happens is that we have a short vowel, as in penna, because we accentuate the consonant double N, while we have the word mobil, where we have a long vowel E, mobil, because E stands in front of one consonant only. So according to this rule, Spain should be also pronounced as Spanien, but it is not pronounced that way. So what you have to do here is basically to memorize, right? It's a little bit of exception, and we say Spanien, Spanien. It's as if we stress the consonant N. And then Frankrike is an interesting example. Why? Because it also has the word et rike in it. Et rike, a kingdom. So put simply, the kingdom of the Franks, Frankrike. You might have also noticed that some languages, some countries, sorry, have the word land in them. For example, Finland, Iceland, Tyskland. I guess that could be one more thing that makes to remember the countries easier, because you now know that ett land is a country. Now, what about these languages? Litauiska, Lithuanian. Ukrainska, Ukrainian. Engelska, English. Finska, Finnish. Svenska, Swedish. Ni kan svenska. Norska, Norwegian. Danska, Danish. Isländska, Icelandic. Tyska, German. Polska, Polish. Spanska, Spanish. Franska, French. Italienska, Italian. One thing that you also might have noticed in this column is that we have this repetitive ending ska. And yes, the thing that you are thinking right now is true. For an overwhelming majority of languages in Swedish, we have the ending ska, right? So we might memorize the main root for the country and then maybe improvise or not really. And then you have the name of the language, right? Ukraina, Ukrainska, Finland, Finska, and so on and so forth. There are a couple of exceptions, but it's not necessary for us to know them right now. So we're okay with this table. Now, since things are pretty clear, let's take a look at a couple of examples how these countries and languages are used in sentences. So first of all, exempel med länder, examples with countries. De kommer från Frankrike. They come from France, right? The name of the country. De kommer inte från Island. They don't come from Iceland. Basically, what we're doing here is we're using an affirmative and a negative sentence. And again, the primary rule that you have to remember is that the verb always stands in the place number 2, and then it might be followed by a negation. And then we put something that is left. In this case, a place, that is some kind of country. What about the languages? Exempel med språk. Examples with languages. Vi pratar eller talar norska och danska. We speak Norwegian and Danish. Or if you want to make the sentence a negative one, vi talar inte tyska och franska. We don't speak German and French, right? One thing that I would like to draw your attention to is that contrary to English, in Swedish, we do not capitalize the names of the languages, right? We simply leave them in the simple letter N or D or T or F that we have here. No capital letters. We do write the names of countries with capital letters though. Nothing too difficult, right? So what about the short exercise to check whether you really know this? Titta om du kan. Let's take a look at the example first of all. The example might look a little bit messy and difficult to understand on the face of it, but I promise it's nothing too difficult. We have to take a look at the colors, right? We have Lush, Litauen, Sverige. The first country is in color red, which means that we have to make a negation out of it. And then we have to correct that negation and write a positive or affirmative sentence. For instance, Lars kommer inte från Litauen. Han kommer från Sverige. That is your task. You see 5 cases, and you have to make 2 sentences for each case. A negative one and a positive one. I would like to ask you to use a pronoun in the second one and the positive one so that we revise the pronouns a little bit. All right, so we have 5 cases as I mentioned, but 10 sentences in total and 40 seconds for the task. So lycka till, good luck, and your time starts now. is up, and as per usual, let's take a look at the facit, or the answer key. Anna, Norge, Danmark. Anna kommer inte från Norge. Hon kommer från Danmark. First of all, we use the pronoun hon because we are referring back to Anna, and Anna is a woman, right? Hon är en kvinna. What about number 2? Kerstin. The pronunciation is a little bit trickier. Kerstin, Frankrike, Ukraina. Kerstin kommer inte från Frankrike. Hon kommer från Ukraina. Again, we have a female name here, Kerstin. Why? Because we have a soft vowel E and then the K turns into Sh sound, right? Kerstin. And then again, we use the pronoun hon. Number 3. Nils och Johan, Polen, Spanien. Nils och Johan kommer inte från Polen. De kommer från Spanien. Why de? Because our subject is in plural. Nils och Johan. We have 2 boys here, right? Number 4. Sofia, Tyskland, Island. Sofia kommer inte från Tyskland. Hon kommer från Island. Things are pretty easy here, right? Sofia, again, en kvinna, and therefore we say hon. Hon kommer från Island. What about number 5? Olof, Finland, Italien. Olof kommer inte från Finland. Han kommer från Italien. And in this case, we have a man, Olof, right? Therefore, the pronoun that we should use is han. Han kommer från Italien. That is it with this short exercise. Let's see what we have next. Next, we have one more exercise, but I would say even easier, right? This exercise is in the form of a test. So what you have to do here is to choose the correct answer. A eller B. Nothing too difficult. 6 cases, 30 seconds for the task, and you may begin. As per usual, the answer key, right? So the first one. Niklas kommer från Israel. This is the correct answer. Why? Because Niklas bor från Israel does not make sense. We have the preposition which stands for from. So we can't say Niklas lives from Israel, right? What should we change in order for the B alternative to be the correct one? The preposition I, the one that we use with countries. Niklas bor i Israel, till exempel. Nummer 2. Andreas pratar engelska. The first one does not make sense because it is a name of a region, right? England. And the name of the language, or for the language, is engelska, obviously. Number 3. De kommer Frankrike. De kommer från Frankrike, right? Yes, we have to use the preposition från. Number 4. Pratar ni franska? Pratar ni Frankrike? Do you speak France? Does not make sense. Therefore, we use franska. Pratar ni franska? Number 5. Vi inte pratar tyska. Vi pratar inte tyska. That's right. This is the rule that you most probably know very well. First the verb, then the negation. Vi pratar inte tyska. Talar du isländska? Talar du Island? The same case as in, I think number 2, right? Talar du isländska? Do you speak Icelandic? And as for the B, the translation would be, do you speak Iceland? So the name for the language is isländska, S-K-A. And that is it for this little test. So, what about the summary for today's lesson? A rather short one, right? So, today we have learned, or idag har vi lärt oss, two things. First of all, to differentiate between the names of the countries and between the names of the languages, and then use them in both positive and negative sentences, as well as in questions. And of course, in a way, we revised related questions. For example, varifrån kommer du? And vad talar du för språk? I think this is also a very good opportunity, a very good chance for you to revise the types of questions, right? The ones that you see here, the two related questions, are the ones that start with the question word, varifrån and vad. But you might as well ask a question, a yes or no question that starts with the verb itself. For example, talar du Italian? So right, I think that you might revise this on your own. Jag kommer från Italien. Talar du italienska? Jag bor i Tyskland. Pratar du tyska? And so on and so forth. If you would like to take a second look at the vocabulary, here it is again, the table with the names of the countries and the names of the languages that we typically use on a daily basis. Yeah, I guess the thing that I could finally say is that we are done with our lesson number 4, and I can definitely say that du kan svenska.